I want to talk about something that was on my mind last night. I've been watching videos about how the food is contaminated, like the chocolate has heavy metals in it. People have been finding baby teeth in a chicken McNuggets from McDonald's. A girl went to a restaurant and she found a whole human set of teeth in her food. And the list goes on and on and on. I found out some disturbing things about the bread, the store-bought bread. And, at the end of the day, people going to still go to McDonald's. People going to still go to Chick-fil-A. People still going to go to KFC. People still going to go to Church's Chicken. People still going to go to these places, even though all of this information is coming out about how toxic and contaminated this food is. It's basically people saying, like, what can we eat? What can you really eat? Because the fruits and vegetables have possibly pesticides sprayed on it, and the organic, not processed food is hard to find or it's too expensive. So that's why I'm glad I found that little market yesterday, because it seemed like the stuff in there is like healthy and good for you and everything. But with that being said, that reminds me of men, because recently I met a guy. He worked at a gas station, and I put our conversation on my last video at the end, in case you all didn't stay to the end of my last video when I went to the supermarket. But he is from India. I don't know if he watched my videos, but yes, I'm about to talk about you. I'm about to talk about you. I wasn't going to talk about him, but this reminds me of all the videos that I've been watching about how we've been fooled and how we've been tricked to just judge a book by its cover, like the Lindt chocolate, all of these chocolates that look good on the outside, Godiva, all of these expensive chocolates. But the whole time, children in Africa are being used for child labor to produce a whole lot of stuff that we buy. And I don't know if we don't know or we don't care. I don't know which one it is, because the more you know, the more you do your research, you'll find that a lot of the stuff that you thought was this is not that. If you do your research, you're going to find out a lot of things that we thought was true is false. But with that being said, back to this man I met at the gas station from India. Okay. So first of all, he was always smiling every time I went into the store. And my friends say, well, all the guys at the store be trying to flirt with me. I said, it was just different with him, because he just seemed like a good guy. And I went to the gas station like for 2 or 3 months without even giving him my phone number. But one day I needed some gas money, and I went in there. I was thinking about him. I went to the gas station. I said, you got $10? He gave the $10 to me. And then I seen him another time. I said, what's your phone number? And he gave me his phone number. I gave him my phone number. So then one day I was outside pumping my gas, and he had got off work, and I was like, where are you about to go? He said he about to go home. I said, you want me to drop you off at home? And then we went to have a little drink at a bar. And then we went back to my old apartment. And of course he wanted to be intimate with me, but I couldn't do that even if I wanted to. If you catch my drift, if you follow my drift. So I couldn't even do that if I wanted to, but I'm glad I wasn't able to. Fast forward, he didn't tell me that he's still married. He said he's separated. He really didn't tell me that he had children. I said, do you have kids? He talking about he used to. What do you mean you used to have kids? And I'm just saying that he talking about, on the video, at the end of the video I had put, he talking about, it's not that I'm switching up on you, or it's another woman, or anything like that, or whatever. But he did switch up. He did. Honestly, yes, he switched up on me. He say he didn't switch up on me. He said that he just busy at work and he got a lot of stuff to, focus on and all this and that. I understand that. But a woman's intuition doesn't lie. And you could tell me that you busy at work and you got a lot going on and X, Y, and Z. But it's a thin line between being busy and just not being, unavailable to a person, being emotionally unavailable. So I was telling myself, I was talking to him, I'm like, maybe I need to write this down 10 times that you are busy and it has nothing to do with me, and read it 5 times a day, because it's just not registering to me that everything you're saying is true. The problem is and was, he was telling me he loved me, all this and that, but of course his actions wasn't matching up with his words, and the math wasn't mathing. Of course the math wasn't mathing, because he would say all of this stuff, love bombing, like he was all in love with me so fast. But then, anyway, fast forward, since he worked at the gas station, and I feel bad about this. I feel a little bad about this. Well, I feel horrible about this. He worked at the gas station, and so he didn't want his coworkers and people to know that he was messing with me. Of course, he was keeping it professional at work. So one day, something happened, a little issue where I was trying to make him jealous, being real childish, trying to make him jealous because I didn't like what he had said. He had texted me the day before. So I was trying to make him jealous at the store, like flirting with some guys and all this and that. Because what he had said to me, it was basically like he wasn't appreciating me. So I had to let him know, it's a privilege for me to be interested in you. It's a privilege for me to mess with you. Because I kept telling him, I don't mess with nobody. And I haven't been intimate with nobody in a long time. And the only reason why I gave him a chance is because he seemed like a nice guy. Like he really was not somebody I would normally talk to or give a chance to. But looks can be deceiving. He's not a horrible person. He's not a bad person. But at the end of the day, it's always something. Let's just say that. And it really pissed me off that I had gave him a chance. And it's like, I always look back like, what was I thinking? Like, why did I think that it would be different, or that he would be 100 and keep it real and he wouldn't switch up on me? Why would I even think that? What in my what would in my right mind would think that? Because it never fails. It never fails. Every person, every guy ever met, and it ain't about having sex with them too fast or anything like that. The whole point of this video is that he already wasn't being honest from the gate. He already had an agenda, from the beginning. And a lot of guys have a hidden agenda from the beginning and don't keep it 100 from the beginning. So that really piss me off. But anyway, he's from India. So he say he don't know. He only been here for like 3 or 4 months. So he's really new to the United States. He don't know nothing about nothing. And he told me I was the only person he know here from the United States. And he said, I'm the only person he need to know. I said, yeah, keep it that way. But anyway, moving along. I threw a big cup of soda on him. I splashed him. I drenched him down with soda. Why? Because he was acting like he didn't know me at the store. And I ain't like that. That really rubbed me the wrong way. And of course, he's sending money back to India. and he have to send back money to his family and everything. So he financially can't do anything for me, you know, or anything like that. So I basically was just giving him a chance based on the fact that he was a good person. I thought he was a good person. That's all. With a good heart. That's the only reason. But at the end of the day, yes, I threw a big cup of Sprite soda on him because I kept telling him, I'm going to slap you. And I kept telling him, I'm going to throw some soda on you. I was just talking shit. And I am on medication. I'm very transparent, open, and honest. I'm on medication, but I haven't taken it. I slacked off from taking it. I don't know if it makes me more crazy. I think it is something to that. Yeah. Do your research. It ain't always cracked up to be prescription medication for mental health. It's not what it's all cracked up to be. But yes, I snapped because I told myself, this what happened. I texted him, I said, what time you get off work? He said, why? I said, what you mean, why? And then he stopped texting me. But he was mad at me because I was flirting with those guys in front of him the night before. But I was only flirting with them because he was trying to act like I wasn't SHIT. Well, that's what I was feeling. So I think it was a misunderstanding. Or like a language barrier or something. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're dating somebody of a different race, a different nationality, from another country, there could be a language barrier because he could be being sarcastic and trying to be funny, but I'm taking it like an insult. I'm taking it as an insult, and I'm offended that you would even say those kind of things. But he say he don't know nothing about dating, and I say, it don't matter. I feel like it don't matter where you from. I feel like you should know common courtesy and common sense. You should know how to treat a person. So I'm not falling for that. You ain't from here. I'm not buying the fact that you ain't from here. I'm not buying the fact that you only been here for 3 to 4 months and you don't know how to treat somebody. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that you don't know how to treat a woman because you've been in the United States for 3 to 4 months. I'm not buying that. That you're not fooling me, because how you treat people should be universal. And yeah. Anyway, but I didn't like how I was telling people about this situation to get their opinion on it. And you all can chime in and give your comments and your feedback or whatever. And just, I want to get your all's reaction to that, or whatever, however you feel about that. But it just reminded me of how we are finding out all of this stuff that's not good for us, but it's very deceitful and very, hard to know that what they put in the food and all this and that. It's hard to know if a person is not being 100% honest with you and genuine with you, because they can be very deceptive. And that's what I told my friend. I said he's very deceptive. He could come off like a good person and he could be a good person, but he's deceptive. It's like you're withholding information. You're withholding vital information that this the icing on the cake right here. My friend was saying that she dated this guy and he went to Chicago, and when he went to Chicago, he changed up, he switched up, he wasn't calling like he used to, he was acting funny, acting different. So she thought that he probably was messing with his old girlfriend in Chicago and stuff like that. So I was thinking to myself, I said, now if my little friend go back to India, I could see him just forgetting all about me. And then so I texted him, I said, how long you gonna be in the United States? He said, oh, you don't believe me? He was acting like I don't believe that he loved me and all this and this and that. He said he gonna be here for a year or two. I said, well, I might as well be prepared to leave you alone then, because what, you want me to fall in love with you and then you just gonna up and leave me in 6 months, 7 months, 8 months? We're not doing that. We're not doing that. It's unfortunate that as women or as a man, or you have to ask these questions because people are not going to volunteer this information. And when you assume things, you could be absolutely wrong. But when you're dealing with somebody that's intentionally deceptive, you don't even think to ask these questions, because you would think that a person would just let you know, hey, I'm only here temporarily. I'm not going to be here that long. I'm just here for a year to get some money, earn some money, and I'm going back to my country. And so I don't want you to get your feelings involved. I don't want to get, see, mixed signals. I don't want none of that. But at the end of the day, see, but my intuition was telling me the whole time. If you catch what I'm putting down, picking up what I'm putting down, he was saying one thing the whole time and acting one way the whole time. But then when I asked him, how long you gonna be here, he told me a year or two. But you ain't tell me this the whole time. The whole time you was not telling me this. You ain't disclosed that information. So that's when, even after I threw the soda on him, I got back cool. Even after I threw the soda on him, even though, and I threw the soda on him, it got everywhere. It broke the lottery machine at the store, and it cost $900 to fix. So now he has to pay out of his check. Every time he get paid, he have to pay for this lottery machine, and it costs $900 to get it fixed. So I do feel bad about that. But I was telling him, who am I to you and who are you to me? Like, I need to know, because I don't have time to play games with nobody. And it really it did something to me. First it was like I was just playing, but then I'm like, I just couldn't, it didn't sit right with me when he was trying to be sarcastic and trying to take me there to be on this back and forth thing. I asked him what time he get off work. He talking about why. And I'm like, you ain't never asked me why before, so why you asking me why now? And I went to his job and I asked him that. He talking about why. I said, why you want to know? He talking about, oh, when you was sitting here the other day, you was talking this and saying all this in front of them guys and all this. I said, well, if you had a problem with what I was saying that day, you should have said that. Don't bring your personal issues to work. Don't text me no bull crap while you at work, because that's gonna piss me off. So that's what he was doing. He had the nerve to be talking trash while he was at work, and that pissed me off. And so I went there and I said, what time you get off work? He acted like he didn't want to tell me, but then he said 11. He said 11, and I should have left then, but I dragged it out. I was like, why you ain't tell me that? Well, what was so hard about saying 11 o'clock? I was dragging it out. And then I waited till everybody left out of there. I went out, I bought some eyelashes. I went to my car, put the eyelashes on, went back in there, and it was just a reflex to throw that soda on him. But this before he told me that he was going back to India. So at the end of the day, my intuition was on point. See, and me and him haven't really had that discussion about that, but he was still texting me, good morning, all this stuff. On the surface, like everything's all good. Like you can hear in the other video, he say, I don't believe him. Because it's my gut intuition is not believing you. My discernment is impeccable. My discernment, it be on point. So that's why I was like, I hear you. It makes logical sense what you're saying, that you busy, whatever. But it wasn't adding up to me emotionally. And I was right. So I want to say, I told him he bit off more than he could chew. He really did. First of all, even his boss told him, I felt bad, and he said it's not all your fault that you messed up the lottery machine. He took some ownership for it, because at the end of the day, you should handle your personal business outside of work. If he would have told me, if he would have got serious and said, you need to leave here, and we could talk about this later on, but it was like he was begging me to throw that soda on him. It was like he was not being serious with me. I was dead serious with him. Like, you was just telling me you love me yesterday, and now you're gonna stand here in my face and act like you don't know me. But he was at work, but still, I was like, he wasn't acting the way he should have been acting. His response was not giving what it was supposed to give, and that's what triggered me to throw that soda on him. It was just a reflex, an instant reflex, because how he just was being so nonchalant. He was being too casual and too nonchalant, and I was like, I didn't like that. But like I was saying, yeah, so we now it is what it is. It just boils down to, it's always something. It's always something. And something could look good on the outside, like some chocolate candy rolled up, covered up with gold foil, and then a pretty box with a bow on top of it. But you don't know what's inside of it, and you don't know how it got there. And that's the same thing with people. And you would think that people would keep it real with you, but they don't. They do not keep it real. They not 100. They deceptive, and it's really the only way for you to know that is over time. The only way for you to know that is over time, because people will show their true colors over time, and that's what he did. And because he was telling me one thing, but he was doing another thing, and I like I said, he bit off more than he could chew. He thought that he could possibly just have sex with me and just go back to living a normal life, a regular life. But you work at a gas station, and so you need to be careful how you treat people. And I know that moving forward, he's gonna be very cautious about messing with the customers, because you can't, if you gonna be a player or something like that, you better be real careful if you work at a public place, because you might have a crazy woman come up in there and throw a cup of soda on you, or do something even more crazy. So yeah, he bit off more than he could chew. He didn't know what he was getting into. He bit off more than he could chew. He didn't know what he was getting himself into when he messed with me. Point blank, period. He did not know. He did not know that I don't got time to play no games with nobody. And when he switched up on me, low key, and he's trying to deny the fact that he switched up on me, but my intuition told me another thing. And then at the end, I found out the real truth, that he only gonna be here for a year or two. But he was not being honest with me and upfront and letting me know what was going on, and trying to make me feel like I was crazy and that I was tripping and I didn't know what I was talking. I was overreacting. Yeah, no. Anyway, basically, he's relieved that I have moved on, and I stopped talking to him for real. He happy about that, because he really didn't want to mess with me like that for real anyway, because he got too much going on in his personal life, in his life, because he only been over here for 3 to 4 months. So he got a million other things to do, and I got a million trillion things that I got to do too. So I got to focus on me. Be blessed.